Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. 5 Saskatchewan residents who tested positive for COVID-19 have died. One of those was in the 70 to 79 age group in the Northwest Zone. We have 30 new cases in our zone. 13 of those are in the immediate Lloydminster area, where we have 115 active cases. 3,752 cases are considered active, with 248 new ones province-wide. 191 people are in hospital, including 10 in the Northwest. 29 people are in intensive care, with 1 in our zone. 226 more people have recovered. 9,880 people have been vaccinated in Saskatchewan. City Council is beginning the process of amending the Lloydminster Charter, as several areas need to be addressed. Council approved the motion to reach out to both provincial governments, and Eric Bay has more on what the city hopes to achieve.
Last revised in 2013, the Lloydminster Charter governs Lloydminster as a bi-provincial city. Mayor Gerald Albers has discussed the charter with MLAs in both provinces, as parts have become outdated.
I know the city clerk has a copy, and there is more than 25 tags of changes he'd like to see made. Some of it simply wording, just to clear things up.
Sustainable police funding is a priority for Council, as the province of Saskatchewan does not currently provide funding to the city for policing. Councillors did express concerns about opening the charter, but ultimately Council decided to move forward in a unanimous vote.
There are some things that I think are very advantageous to the city that in today's current economy might not be looked upon so favorably by the provincial governments, as far as financial contributions and things like that, and things we're exempted from, and so on and so forth. So it was always kind of nerve-wracking for me to want to go down that road.
The mayor will now submit a written application to each province to bring the three parties together.
We'll hopefully be able to provide the government good direction, because if we have already said, this is what it says, this is what we'd like to propose, half the work's done already. It's simply getting the acceptance and the buy-in from the governments to move forward.
There is the possibility neither province decides to open the charter for revision, but early discussions have been favorable, according to the mayor. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Lloydminster is known as the heavy oil capital of Canada, and every 2 years the city is host to the Lloydminster Heavy Oil Show. Last year's show was postponed to 2021, but now it's been postponed until 2022. Jace Mackey has more.
I'm joined with John Stanier. He's the chairman of the Lloydminster Heavy Oil Show. John, thanks for taking some time to talk with me today.
Thanks for having me.
So the 2021 Heavy Oil Show has been postponed. Originally, this was postponed from 2020. Can you just talk me through a little bit about the decision to postpone the 2021 show?
I think the biggest thing about the 2021 show was that it was like you said, it was moved from the 2020 or 2020, which would have been a normal year, and then 2021 we're on an off year, and then with the way things are going with COVID and that, and we're hearing very, very good things, and it didn't sound like things are going to be very good, and you hear different stories that things probably weren't going to be opening up until probably October, November, late in the year here. So we made the decision that we just move the 21 show to our original dates of 2022, and then that'll get us back on our schedule again of our even years, and that way we're not competing with other shows. And if you're competing with other shows, we were going to lose some exhibitors, because they had to make a decision whether they were going to continue or go with one or the other. And it got to the way things are in the industry right now, you need all the exhibitors you can get. So, and then it's nice that you're not competing with other shows. It gives them the opportunity to get that you're not stealing from their show as well too. So.
And for people who don't know what the Lloydminster Heavy Oil Show is, can you just go through a little bit about what it is and kind of how important it is for the community and the industry here in Lloydminster?
The Lloyd Heavy Show is probably the premier event in showcasing new technology for heavy oil, because Lloydminster is basically the center of the heavy oil industry. And a lot of the technology has been developed has come actually out of this area. So it's nice that we can be able to show all this technology.
And you kind of touched on this a little bit in your first answer, but the show for 2021 was originally supposed to be in September. That's the one you guys decided to push until 2022 to get kind of back on your the proper rotation. But can you talk a little bit about why it was important to so early on in 2021 just say, you know, we're going to postpone this till 2022 and really focus on that?
It takes a lot of time and energy to put on these shows, and if you're putting on these shows and you're doing all this work to get your exhibitors lined up and whatnot, and then it comes down to a month or 2 months before the show, they're going to say, nope, we can't do it anymore. So, and then we looked at the way it is right now and the way the regulations are and the way things are being conducted. And I think probably the state of the oil industry had a little bit of effect on that too. Hopefully, you know, with the way things are going, maybe in 2022 that the industry is going to pick up and get a little more interest in the show. So with that, we decided we just move the 21 show to 2022 and it's regular dates. So
awesome, John. Thanks so much for taking some time to talk with me today.
All right.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Looking right now around that -4 mark right now with some cloud coverage starting to roll in. Of course, we are expecting a decent amount of snow heading into tonight. Mainly, we're going to start to see it around 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow is when we're going to start to see the pouring snow and then scatter flurries throughout the rest of the day and even some blowing snow into the evening. Taking a look here, -3 in Vermilion and Marwayne currently right now. -3 also we see in Bonnyville and Colt Lake. Speaking of those areas, most of that northern area in the Lakeland are under a snowfall warning, so lots more snow could be heading into the northern regions here of the Lakeland area. Vegreville at -2, -1 in Provost, -6 we see in Maidstone and North Battleford, -2 out in Meadow Lake, and -1 in Green Lake right now. And then we also see 0 degrees in both Isle La Crosse and in Macklin. Now, as we take a look here at the satellite radar map, nothing yet. It's kind of more so the calm before the storm as we still see some cloud coverage rolling in. And of course, the northern areas, as I mentioned, are going to be victim to some snowfalls as those warnings are still currently in effect for right now. But as we take a look here at North Battleford, -9 overnight tonight with a little bit of cloud coverage going into tomorrow, creating a little bit of icy conditions. There could be some freezing rain as well in the forecast there for them tomorrow at -1, -8 looking overnight in Cold Lake, with tomorrow with snow expected throughout the day and the wind kind of picking up a little bit, so it could feel a little bit chillier with that wind coming in from the west at 33 kilometers an hour. And it could be similar results for us here. -7 overnight, as I mentioned, around 11 a.m. is when we start to see some of that snow, but before that we could see some freezing rain ahead of that, and then some blowing snow around 6 to 7 tomorrow night, and then probably dying down by the time we hit later in the evening around that 9 to 10 o'clock range tomorrow night. So expect snow throughout most of the day tomorrow. As we get into Thursday, clear skies with that snow stopping at -4 with a low there of -10. Heading into Friday, we still continue to be a little bit colder at -7 with that high, and then low there of -13. With the wind chill for tomorrow, could feel a little bit very cold at -21. That is a look at your weather forecast for now. We'll have more primetime local news after this.
In a chaotic year for sports, a number of Holy Rosary athletes are continuing to succeed. Evan Kenny has more on some of these athletes.
Earlier today, past and present Holy Rosary student athletes dotted the I's and crossed the T's in committing to their future universities.
To have the skill level to go on to the next level, but also the passion to continue to take it into a post-secondary situation. It's an incredible amount of work and time commitment. So the fact that these guys want to continue it, it speaks volumes about who they are as individuals.
4 current Holy Rosary students are committing to youth sport teams. Clay Vetter and Lucas Seferin, both football offensive linemen, committed earlier in the fall to the University of Saskatchewan. Track athlete Sarah Schwab will be joining the two boys.
Yeah, it's been something that I've always wanted to do, is be able to compete with sports and athletics in university, and so it's pretty cool that I get to do that still.
Of the current Holy Rosary students, the last player committed is Dylan Oreo to Acadia University.
So my grade 10 year, I was nothing too special. I was just a little grade 10, scared out of my mind playing high school football. And coming to grade 11, I had more confidence and came in and I just felt like myself playing football again. And I feel like that film really helped me into where I am now. So it was pretty special. Like, I know that from the beginning when I was little, I know he wanted me to have like a future in football. And I think for him and me, it was both really exciting, and I'm really just paving the way, and I'm hoping my brother comes up and does the same thing as me.
Yeah, it's incredible. You know, he's grown up around a football field, watching me coach, and then as an athlete, starting as a 9-year-old, and worked his way through. And to have an opportunity, we're really proud of him.
Of the alumni committed, 3 are committed to University of Regina, while 2 are committed to Acadia. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Looking right now, still sitting around that -4 mark right now, and of course it is going to change heading into later tonight. It could feel a little bit colder into tomorrow, especially with the wind chill. -22 is what it could feel like with that added wind chill. It's most of the northern parts of Alberta that are going to get the heavy dump of snow. As we take a look out west for temperatures right now, 1 degree in Edmonton, Edson, as well, -7 degrees, in Rocky Mountain House, 5 in Red Deer, -3 out in Whitecourt, and 4 degrees out in Jasper. Whitecourt also among the areas that are in a snowfall warning right now. -4 in Saskatoon, Melfort, and -2 in Prince Albert, as well as -5 in Meadow Lake and -6 degrees in North Battleford. Taking a look up in northern Saskatchewan, no warnings to report as of right now. 3 degrees in La Loche and Buffalo Narrows with 1 degree in La Ronge, 2 degrees in Flin Flon with -2 out in Walston Lake, -6 in Uranium City, and then we see -1 in Stony Rapids. Now, of course, here's where a lot of that snow could come in some of those northern parts here as well. -3 for Peace River and Grand Prairie, -2 in Fort Chipaway, -6 in High Level, and then we see 1 degree for Fort McMurray, and then -1 in Slave Lake. Now, as we take a look here in southern Alberta and Saskatchewan, continue to be very warm in the southern Alberta areas here. 10 degrees in Lethbridge with 4 degrees in Calgary, 2 in Banff, and then we see 8 degrees in Medicine Hat, and then -1 in Coronation. We also see -1 there in Kindersley as well as in Swift Current. Moose Jaw sitting at 0 degrees right now, -3 for Regina, -2 in Yorkton, and then we see 1 degree currently right now in Estevan. Now, as we take a look across the rest of the country, we start to see some snow activity there in Quebec City, just a little bit there, some scattered flurries. 0 degrees in Winnipeg with some cloud coverage there, -1 in Toronto, as well as in Halifax as well, -2 for St. John's. As we take a look here into Vancouver, 11 degrees there with some cloud coverage, -15 in Yellowknife with a little bit of sun, but not a whole lot there, and then -3 we see all the way up in the Yukon there in Whitehorse. Now, as we look here into tomorrow, -2 is our expected daytime high. So we are expecting the snowfall to come starting around that 11 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. mark there, because we are starting to we could see some freezing rain starting around that 7 a.m. mark tonight, as well as carrying over into some scattered flurries. We should see a pour of snow for at least 2 hours tomorrow or so, and then possibly see scattered flurries throughout the rest of the day before it becomes a little bit blowing snow by the time we get into the evening. For the areas that are in the northern areas in Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Lac La Biche, so some of those areas could see maybe upwards up to 20 centimeters of snow for tomorrow, but -1 in Vermilion for tomorrow. As we take a look at some other areas, -1 in St. Paul, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Lac La Biche tomorrow, -3 in Vegreville, -2 in North Battleford, and then we also see -3s in Meadow Lake and Green Lake as well. Taking a look here at the next 7 days, -4 on Thursday, -7 on Friday, and then we look at some clearer and nicer weather for the weekend at -2 for Saturday, -4 on Sunday, some possible more snow on the way on Monday at -12, and then -7 there on Tuesday with that cloud coverage continuing. That is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Now is that time of the show where we take a look at your pet pad pictures. Thank you to everyone who submitted your pictures to our Facebook page, and we will be giving away a pet pad gift card on Friday.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
speaking with Louis Stang with the Kinsman Club. How are you today?
Really good. Yourself?
I'm very good. So on February 6th, which is a Saturday, will be the Telemiracle Steak Night. Can you tell me more about this event and what it's bringing to residents?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been running our Telemiracle Steak Night fundraiser for many years now. Typically, we're down at the Stockade Convention Center serving steaks to people, dance and music and silent auction, all that kind of stuff. And this year, because of COVID, we're doing it a lot differently. So this year on February 6th, we're asking people to still support us by buying steak, and the Kinsman and Connect clubs at Lloydminster will be delivering it to your door. So a little bit different than normal, but we're still going to entertain you. So we have a live stream that we will be running through YouTube and Facebook video, and the band will be Buds Busted Nine Irons, which is a local band. And Jason Whiting and Maz Entertainment are helping us live stream that. So we'll be having that going on, and we'll still be running our silent auction, but rather than having it live at the event, we'll be doing it through the website 32 Auctions, and we'll be running it all week rather than just that night to give people more opportunity to look at things and bid on them and help us raise money for Telemiracle.
So the Telemiracle Steak Night this year, that's happening all COVID style then?
Yeah, absolutely. We're a little bit later in the planning stages than we would normally be, just because we were waiting on the changes through the Christmas and New Year's season and seeing if we were still able to go ahead with it and what that would look like. So tried to delay our decision on what we were doing as long as possible, but we still definitely wanted the event to go forward. Because things like this, missing a year is a really big deal, both from raising funds, but also just the momentum of keeping things going year to year. One fear we had was if we don't do this fundraiser this year due to COVID, then, it's just more difficult to take up and pick up next year. So we're really after our main sponsors that have supported us over the years to stay on with us, and all the patrons that we've had over the years to keep us going. So.
And what other organizations are all involved with this event?
So it's the Kinsman and Connect clubs of Lloydminster are putting on the event in support of Telemiracle. Telemiracle is a Saskatchewan fundraiser, used to help people in all sorts of different needs, mostly medical related. And Telemiracle was started by the Kinsman and Connect clubs of Saskatchewan. So that's kind of how it all ties together. Yeah.
And what are all the proceeds helping with the Telemiracle event that's coming at the end of February?
For those that, as Lloydminster is kind of a little bit different case, being both Saskatchewan and Alberta. But growing up in Saskatchewan, Telemiracle's a huge event, raising millions of dollars to help the people of Saskatchewan. They all help with things like wheelchairs, lifts, handyman societies, things like that. They'll donate money to hospitals for specialized equipment, help with medical bills, especially, people maybe that don't live in the city, live in rural communities, but for whatever medical reason have to be, say, in Saskatoon or Regina for extended periods of time, or even, say, somewhere further and need help. And Lloydminster being the border city, anybody can, if they do have a need that Telemiracle could support, Telemiracle does support Lloydminster residents on both sides of the border.
And for this steak night coming up, how has support been from residents so far?
So far, it's been really positive. We've reached out to our previous sponsors, and for the most part, they've all come back on. Not all have confirmed yet. I wish I could share more, but so far, Synergy Credit Union and Dynasoft Communications have both come back on, and some of our previous sponsors are still pending, but we're working on them. Sold quite a few tickets already, which is awesome. Different this year is because on the ticket side, we typically are, it's over 19 event. It's like a licensed event. But this year, because we're delivering to people's homes, we have actually offered a kids meal to be delivered as well. So that people can order their steaks for maybe themselves and bring in food for their children as well. So they don't have to worry about, whipping up a pot of craft dinner or something for their kids. So,
yeah.
And then that also helps raise money for our event as well.
And is there anything else you want to add for people to know about?
For all businesses in Lloydminster, we're definitely accepting silent auction items. In a typical year, we have 100 silent auction items for people to bid on, and we're hoping to reach that point again this year. The other thing is for tickets. If you've never been to our event, this will give you a good taste of what it's like. We normally cap the event at about 550 tickets just due to the restrictions that the stockade puts on us. But this year, with no building restrictions, we're hoping to sell 1,000 steaks in Lloydminster. It's a lofty goal, but we're really hoping that the community gets behind us and is able to support us for this. So,
For people who don't know, where can they go find online for these tickets?
yeah, so they can. We have something out on all our social media feeds, both Kinsman and Kinetz through Facebook and Twitter, and that's kind of the main way to find us. If you Google Lloydminster Telemiracle Steak Night or Kinsman Telemiracle Steak Night, it'll come up for sure. So
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Louis.
yeah, thanks, Shelby.
Well, I'm joined with Alexa Blyan, the creator of Digital Voices. So Alexa, I'll let you start us off here. Tell us what Digital Voices is all about.
So Digital Voices is a project, is a video project that we launched to create a platform for different individuals to share their stories and inspire others and kind of release the stigma of different things in society that we may be afraid to talk about or we may feel ashamed to talk about. It kind of gives you that open space to just be free with it.
Why do you think storytelling these issues through videos is the way to do it? And what was sort of the driving force for yourself to create this platform?
So a few years ago, I started doing advocacy work for missing and murdered Indigenous women. And through that, I've done a lot of public speaking at various events. And I meet a lot of different people. And they always have different stories to tell me and different lessons that they've learned. And it teaches me something different with every person teaches me something different. And I felt like with a project like Digital Voices, I could give that same feeling to so many more people. And I feel like video is kind of the best way to do that in our communities today, because one, we're going through a pandemic, obviously, but also because you can reach so many people. It's like you see a video and you can share it to whoever.
Now, is all the work being done by yourself, or do you have someone else involved with you, helping you? What's sort of the way you're doing things?
So it's me and my friend Emmanuel De La Cruz. He does all the production work, and I do most of the directing and asking the questions and finding the people and that kind of thing.
Have you had many people reaching out to you to be interviewed for Digital Voices?
We haven't opened back applications to do our next set of videos, but we're doing that hopefully really soon. And we had already had different people in mind for that, but I guess if anybody is wanting to be a part of Digital Voices, it's a quick email, and I doubt that we'd say no.
What's sort of the end goal when it comes to having this platform? What's sort of your dream that you want to have with this?
I'm not too sure, if I'm being honest. I kind of just started it so that I could give a voice to others. So really that's what my goal is to continue to give a voice to other individuals, hopefully across Canada one day. We just want to continue doing what we're doing, and we want to eventually do it on a bigger platform and reach more people, and just the more the better.
How have the people from Lloydminster reacted to your series, and has there been lots of community support for you?
So many people have been very, very supportive. It's just constantly in this community. I feel like I'm just embraced with love. So I think the response to digital voices in Lloydminster has been very, very good.
And lastly, Alexa, where can people go to watch these videos if they want to?
So our Digital Voices videos are up on YouTube and also my website. It's easiest to access them through my website, alexablind.com.
Well, Alexa, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us, and keep up the good work that you're doing.
Thanks for having me.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. -2 for tomorrow, expecting some snow, up to 3 centimeters or so of snow for tomorrow. -4 on Thursday, -7 Friday. Warmer temperatures there for Saturday with clear skies at -2, -4 there on Sunday. More snow could be on the horizon there for Monday at -12. And then as we look into Tuesday, -7 is the high with that low there to start the day off at -21.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.